Hey everyone, Ben from Snowboard Gamer. In this video, I'll be going over our top games that we played in January of 2019. Every month I do a wrap up of our top 5 games that we played. Hopefully this gives you an idea of some games that you can play with your friends and family. Let's get right into it with number 5, which is Deception Murder in Hong Kong. This is for 4 to 12 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in 30 minutes. In Deception Murder in Hong Kong, somebody committed a murder, and there's a forensic scientist who's investigating the murder along with a team of investigators. There's also an accomplice, and then there's a witness who saw the murder and the accomplice leaving the scene. Everyone gets dealt one of these secret identity cards. You don't know who anyone is except for the forensic scientist, who is building a story to help everyone solve the mystery, and everyone has 4 means of death in front of them, as well as 4 pieces of evidence left behind at the scene. And the murderer picks the combination of which 2 to be the story. The forensic scientist is working with all the investigators to help properly build the story by putting these bullets on little clue cards. And then everyone is talking about it, and the murderer and the accomplice are going to try and lead people astray away from the murderer. What I like about this game is that everybody's talking, it's getting crazy, and then the rules actually have everyone take 30 seconds and go around the circle and state their case. This is great because it allows for the shyer people to have their chance to talk, because sometimes you get the loud people who take over a game, especially a social game like this, and this one does it well because everyone gets a chance to talk. And then after everyone's gone around the room, you kind of listen to what everyone's saying, look at the clues that the forensic scientist is giving to everyone. The forensic scientist also knows what happened but cannot talk. And so he's trying to get everyone to guess the right combination of the murderer's cause of death and the evidence left behind at the scene. We went to the mountains with several other families, played some board games, did some snowboarding and skiing, and this was the popular one for that trip. Number 4 is Space Base. Space Base is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in 60 minutes. We're still playing this. We've had this several months now. It's getting played a lot. I really enjoy this game. In Space Base, everybody has cards in front of them from 1 to 12. And on your turn, you roll the dice, and then you get resources. You can either choose each individual die to get those payouts, or you can choose this combination of them. And the higher cards are usually a little better, but you only get 1 card. So if you rolled a 5 and a 3, you could take the 3 and the 5 payout, which might be 1 coin each, and then or the 8 payout, which might be 3 coins each, which is a little better. And as you buy cards from the middle of the table, you replace the card on your tableau. The cool thing about it though is you take the old card, flip it upside down, there's a little red spot that shows you a reward that you now get on other people's turns when they roll the dice. The more cards you buy, the more you're getting not only on your turn, but on other people's turns. There's so many different strategies to try in this game. You can go all in on the lower cards or the higher ones, or maybe just on 2 numbers. There's other cards that help you modify the dice, so you could boost a die roll up 1 or 2 to get that number hit that you really want. This is really fun, and we're continuing to play Space Base. I'm really excited. The first expansion for it is coming out in March, so check out that. Our number 3 played game in January 2019 is The Mind. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in 15 minutes. We've been playing The Mind now for over 6 months. This is a fun game that's really quick, plays in 10 to 15 minutes. I've found that it's either you love it or you hate it. It's kind of a polarizing game. I enjoy it, and it's very different than most games. You don't really develop a strategy and then go execute on that strategy. It's called The Mind because you're all working together to play cards in the middle of the table from lowest to highest, but you don't know what card everyone else has, and you can't talk. You can only look into their eyes, try and read their mind, and then whoever thinks they have the lowest card plays first. If you play out of order, you lose a life. Each level that you beat, you can gain a life, or there's these shurikens which help you beat levels. In level 1, everyone gets 1 card. Level 2, everyone gets 2 cards. And in a 4-player game, you have to go all the way up to level 8, which is each person getting 8 cards. And it's a deck of 1 to 100 cards. That's the whole game. It's very simple. This one always produces a lot of laughs when you're sitting there staring. Maybe 2 people are down to the last 2 cards and they're both in the 90s. You gotta try and read the other person's mind and figure out who needs to play first. So there's a lot of stare downs, laughter. This is just a fun game. Number 2 is Pandemic Iberia. This is for 2 to 5 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in 45 minutes. Pandemic Iberia is my favorite of the spin-off Pandemic games. It's a little different than the base game of Pandemic, but it's essentially Pandemic. So you still have the same basic mechanics of infecting cities, trying to cure the disease from the cities. What's really cool about this game is the train mechanic. You can build these train tracks across the Iberian Peninsula, and then on your move action, you can move from one city to the next city all the way through all the train tracks in one action. So depending on how the cities come out, you can choose to build your train a certain way. Maybe you split off and you hit two different ends like that. The other cool mechanic are these water droplets that you put in the middle of a group of cities. And then when one of those city cards gets drawn from the infection pile, instead of putting a cube in it, which could potentially cause an outbreak, you just remove the water droplet. So it's a way to kind of protect a certain area if you want to go work on something else. This is a fun one, and if you really like Pandemic, I definitely recommend checking out Pandemic Iberia. Our number one played game in January of 2018 is Cosmic Run Regeneration. This is for 1 to 4 players ages 10 and up and plays in 30 minutes. We are really enjoying this game. I just got it back in December. It was a Kickstarter I backed 7 or 8 months ago. I played the original Cosmic Run, which was fun. This one takes it to the next level, I think, and fixes a lot of things in the first game. It was already fun, but this balances it a little bit more. A few small tweaks to it, but it's basically the same game as Cosmic Run. You roll dice, you buy cards, you're moving your spaceships up the planet, you're racing before the planets get hit by asteroids and get blown up. This is a fun, light game, plays in 30 minutes. It's always a hit when I brought it to the table. A few other honorable mentions from January. YAMATAI. This is a game where you're trying to gain the favor of the Queen and you're building these boat routes and these buildings. It's a really, really cool, beautiful game. We played some of the Resistance, pulled this out, we haven't in a while. We played with the expansion, which really makes the Resistance good. It's a social game with secret identities. You've got the Resistance trying to overthrow the government, and the government's deployed spies to try and thwart out the Resistance. So you gotta try and figure out who you can trust. We also played Takedo. This is a very relaxing game. It's a very zen game.
You need to get more zen.
If you're looking for just a relaxing game to play, this is a good one. And then we also played the Godfather Corleone's Empire. This is a game we play with our friends Eric and Liz. Eric has it. It's in New York City. Everybody controls a different mob family. You're trying to complete jobs to score money, and car bombs get set off and people get dumped in the Hudson River. It's themed after the Godfather. Very fun game. In January, I also published my first episode of Board Game Stories with one of my subscribers by the name of Michael. Go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I'll link it up here. I'm gonna start doing this probably once a month, interviewing someone different, talking about their journey, how they got into board games, what board games they like to play. Everyone has a different story. If you're interested in coming on and doing an episode like that, leave me a comment and we can schedule something like that. I think that'd be fun. Let's engage everyone out there. I've got one of my subscribers that's gonna come on in April or May probably. I've already gotten good feedback about this. People seem to really enjoy it, so I'm gonna keep doing this. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully this gave you some ideas of some games that you can play with your friends and your family. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.